Hi guys, welcome to another video. I'm currently in my room because I don't need to be in my literal office room at the moment for this video, because this video is going to be a reading vlog, if you've seen by the title. But this is going to be like the classic books, like classic reading vlog. Since my reading journal, where is my reading journal? Do I have it near me? Yes. In my reading journal, I have like a challenge page, which I don't know where the challenge page is. Oh, it's this one. With 25 classic books. Don't mind like the markings on them. I think they're the ones that I have on my thing to read, on my Fable app to read. But yeah, I have this challenge page of 25 classic books to read, and that I just got this off of Pinterest, and I think 14 of the 25 I've managed to get on my Fable app, which is my Fable is like, the Fable app is just a app where I like track the books I read and like the ratings of them and like what days I read and stuff like that. And yeah, but also on the Fable app you can get like, on some of them you can get a free like ebook through it. So on my Fable app, let me get it up and it loads, and that this is like my like lists of a bunch. I've got like my want to read, currently reading is empty, finished books, and then DNFs, and then I've also like added a couple of my own ones of like all my 5 stars, my TBR of the year, my physical TBR I've got on here, and then possibly books that I want to add to my TBR next year, and stuff. But yeah, so I've got them. And then up here it's got like reading lists. There's also like a watch list for like shows and stuff, which like I've got nothing on, which I think is to do with like Netflix and stuff, and like, yeah, import your Netflix thing. And then there's ebooks, which I have a bunch here. I actually also added like a Winnie the Pooh thing, like don't mind that one. But yeah, so you can click on it and it's like the book, like this is like Pride and Prejudice. Oh, it's a swipe one. But if you go into the search, let me just search Pride and Prejudice, and Prejudice, yeah, here. So when you search for a book, it will come up like this. Obviously I've got it on my want to read, so it's like clicked, but you can read it on Fable, because let me see if I can find one. Yeah, so this is one that I don't have because I'm not going to end up reading it. You can like read it for free on Fable. They've also got some where you can like listen to it as well on like a different app, but some of them you can have like a free ebook of it. So I went through all the 25 that I have in here and found 14 of them on my Fable app, which I can read for free. So that is what I'm gonna do, instead of actually going out and buying the book. Unless I like the book, then I might end up buying it, but I'm just gonna read it off my phone or my iPad, because my Fable book is on, well, the Fable app is on both, but obviously while I'm filming I will be on my phone reading it, because I can't really read off my iPad if I'm filming off my iPad, and that. But yeah, I've got a little spin wheel thing, like what I had at the start of the year. I don't think I've used it since. This literal first book I picked. I don't think I've generally used it since. Or have I? No, it says I've used one spin. So it must have been the start of the year where I picked out the first book that I read of my TBR, because I've got a will spin of my 2026 TBR and then of classic books, but we're going to go with the classic books one. So I've got all 14 on here, which is The Picture of Dorian Gray, Crime and Punishment, The Odyssey, The Scarlet Letter, A Tale of Two Cities, War and Peace, Moby Dick, The Brothers of Karamazov, or however you pronounce that, Frankenstein, Wuthering Heights, Pride and Prejudice, The Great Gatsby, Jane Eyre, and Dracula. So I've got all of them, so let's spin it to see which one I'm going to be starting with A Tale of Two Cities. I'm starting with, okay, so that is the first book that I'm going to be doing. So I'll get that up on my phone. Since I'm starting this towards like the start of the month, and this is literally, it's currently the 3rd of the month, and this goes out on the 20th, so I've got around 2 weeks. So I'm kind of wanting to read at least possibly 2 books in this video, and then the whole month of May I kind of want to read at least 3 classic books. But yeah, that's read of A Tale of Two Cities, since I'm going to be reading that one. That one can come off the wheel, and find it on my thing. Oh, here, by Charles Dickens. Oh, you can do like vertical scrolling. What does that mean? Do I want to do vertical scrolling, or would I just rather? I think I'd rather the thing. Dark. I feel like the dark is a bit too dark. I'm just going to adjust. I might just go with system, to be honest. And then with the writing, I'm not too sure at the moment. But okay, so I've just gone like through like this top part where you can do like display, content, highlight, notes, and tabs. You can, well, them ones are like while you're reading the book, but the display where you can change it to vertical scrolling instead of just swiping it. Show personal tabs. I don't know what that fully is. I think that's if you like tab the book, which I haven't done any of it, so I'm just leaving that. Font size and the font style. I'm going to work out while I'm like reading the book which one's better for me, or if I have to adjust it. But yeah, so I'm going to read A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. So fun. Let's get started. Oh, it's also cool because it also says how many pages are left in the chapter at the bottom. This is just talking about the ebook. Okay. Preface. Hi guys, another day of reading. yesterday I managed to read a bit. With this, it doesn't track the pages you read, nor does it tell you what page you're on. So yeah, it just tracks it automatically of like the percentage you've read. Like on here, let me click I've read today because I am going to be reading. It the progress is in the Fable e-reader, but you can't edit it because it'll just edit it itself automatically, which is great because I don't have to work anything out. But it's a thing of I don't know how far I am until I'm like finished and then take a look, and I'm like 10% through. So I don't know how many pages there are in this like book per se, but let me click onto it to start reading it. I'm currently here at this point, which I'm still on like with like this. It like splits into like 3 books kind of thing, and I'm still on like the first book. Well, book the first. And I'm on chapter 5. Is V just 5? Yeah, 5. Because it's in Roman numerals, so I have to like work that out then. And I think I looked it up and there's like 45 chapters in this like book. In like the 3 books like combined in A Tale of Two Cities. And I think it's something like 6 chapters in like the first book, and then it goes to like 20 something in the second, and then I can't remember how many are in the third, but it's something like that. So yeah, so that is great. So I'm kind of trying to like track it by how many chapters I'm done, then pages, since it doesn't give me the page numbers. So yeah, that is fun. But I did manage to read quite a bit last night, or yesterday anyway, which is great since I am starting chapter 5. So yeah, so I'm going to do that. There's like 24 pages, or 25 should I say, ish, because I don't know if it counts the one it's on, because it says there's 24 pages left in the chapter, so there must be 25 with the one I'm on about to start. So I'm gonna start that, at least finish like the first part, which is book the first, recalled to life. I at least want to finish that part today, and then possibly start the book the second, the golden thread, since I think that's the longest one, with the most amount of chapters, so that might take me a bit longer. But yeah, I at least want to do that and go somewhat through, but I am 10% through the book, so yeah, it might take me a bit of a while to read this. So fun. So hopefully I can finish 2 of these books within, or like 2 like classic books in this, hopefully. But yeah, let's get on to doing some reading. So guys, update on the reading, since I haven't updated you guys in literally ages. I think, was it Monday, Tuesday, I last updated you guys on where I was at. I ended up like stopping updating you guys because I was like, I'm updating you guys with something on my phone which is like it's easier just to do like a big update after a while, after a few days, then update you guys every day, because it's easier to update you guys with like a normal physical book with like the pages and stuff than having a percentage and stuff of the book and stuff like that, and reading on my phone. And then I also ended up just filming like parts of me reading, since obviously I'm reading something on my phone, so it's like less exciting than watching me read a physical book probably, because then you can at least look at like the nice cover of the book that I was looking at my phone case. But it's been like what, a week since I started, and that update on where I'm at, I'm 63% through my book. Well, this is what this one says. This front page says I'm 63%, whereas if I go on my actual ebooks, it says I'm 64% through. So kind of confused on that one, but I kind of want to go with like the 64% since it says I'm a bit further in. But within the week or so, I've managed to read, how many was there, 30 pages? No, not 30 pages, 30 chapters. So there was what, 6 chapters in the first half of the book, like the first book. And then in the second part of the book, there was 24 chapters. So I've read like 30 chapters. I'm now about to start the third book, or book the third bit. So in the contents, it's literally just like this third bit, and then after that, which I think there's like something like 15. Yeah, there must be 15 since there's 45 chapters in this book, so there must be 15. So 15 chapters, and then there's like 2 other little things that I need to read afterwards. I was gonna like say them, but I don't actually know how to pronounce the first one. But yeah, so hopefully I can finish this within a few days and stuff, and go from there. But yeah, so I'm gonna try and do that, since it might be a thing of I've got another like week and like 3 days to read for, so I might try and read the next 15 chapters in possibly like 1.5 days, 2 days or so, to then try and start another book, to then get towards the end of that book within possibly like a week and a bit, and go from there, since I want to be like towards the end of like the second classic book by the end of me filming this video, by the end of this video. So yeah, hoping I can do that. So I'm gonna do some more reading and see how far I can get. So yeah, there's like 25 pages on this, 26 because it doesn't count the first one, on this first chapter. So I'm gonna try and get to chapter whatever, because I don't even know what half of 7 is 14, so what, 7.5 pages, 7.5 chapters I need to get to, so I need to partly get through chapter 8 today, by the end of today, so that's gonna be fun. But yeah, so I'm going to do that and go from there. But I do most of the reading I do ends up being in the evening, when I'm just like sat downstairs with my dad, also watching something on the TV, just reading on my phone. That seems to be more of the time that I actually sit and do my reading and that. But yeah, so let's do some more reading. Okay guys, so I've just finished, I'm on the last page, it won't let me like swipe anymore. Just finished A Tale of Two Cities. The last two like parts here are literally some stuff that you don't necessarily have to read through, and that because they're nothing really to do with the book. But I'm 100% through this book now, which is great, so I can mark it as finished, which I'm gonna do, which should pick up like rating. I'm not gonna rate this book purely because I don't feel like rating classic books, kind of like all my other random books I have, like the F1 books that I read, what was it, last year now? I didn't rate any of them, and stuff, just because that's how I feel like doing, but I don't know if it will let me. Does that get saved to my finished books? Yes. It just means there is no rating to it, which is fine. But yeah, so I've now finished that book. So let's get back to my spinny wheel of my classic books and see what other book I'm going to be reading. And while that's doing, I've got what, 13 more books now? The Picture of Dorian Gray I'm reading. Okay, where is it on here? So I can take it off the wheel, delete. And now I've got to find it on here. I can also now take off A Tale of Two Cities off of this. I can remove the sample. Remove download. I don't know. But where's the one that I want here? Okay. I think this is just like a chaptery kind of one. I'm not sure if this one's like the other one or not. Oh, here you go, it's finished. So I've moved it to the top now, so I'm reading this one. So I am going to see if I can add it to my currently reading list. And then click that I have read it today. And obviously I'm at 0% since I have not started it. So let's see if I can get through it. I'm going to look up how many chapters and stuff it has in it. Oh, it has 20 chapters. So this like contents thing here genuinely could be, if I show you guys. So obviously it has the title page, the imprint, the preface, like the other one had. And then it says like the heading of the book there. And then it has all the chapters here. Unlike the other one, where the other one was split into 3 like kind of books within one kind of thing, which is literally like just 3 sections of like somewhat the same book ish kind of it was. And then obviously it's got the bottom 2, which I think that's like 2 pages or so, and then that's like 3, which is kind of a thing that you can just flick through. So yeah, I feel like because this one's got less chapters it might go faster for me. I might go through it faster, I'm not sure. But yeah. But I'm not sure. The other ones, like the chapters on the other book was kind of like you could either have like 8 pages, 18, 12, 27 pages, and then I think there was one with like 33 or 32 pages for like one chapter in that. So yeah, I was always like deciding when it got to like later on in the afternoon, evening, I'd always depend on would I start that chapter on how many pages it had. It said at the bottom how many pages were left. Whereas in a normal book, I normally just go, do I feel like reading this chapter and finishing this chapter? So I do feel like reading it on my phone like this. Let me click that off. Obviously it doesn't say any chapter pages down there. Like having like the page number down here really did give me a thought on if I wanted to do any more reading, and determined how much I actually read in the day, especially towards the evening and stuff. But yeah, but I'm going to see how far I can get into this one and go from there. I've currently got, it's what, the 11th today, I think? Yeah, it's the 11th today, and I'm going to stop filming this on the 19th since this goes up on the 20th. So let's see how much of this book I can get read in, what, 8 days? Not even that, because it's currently at like 5 p.m. if you see the time on my phone. So yeah, let's see how much I can get read in somewhat about like a week or so. And yeah, I can get this book done, possibly this video. I'm kind of in the mood to try and speed read this one as much as I can and possibly finish it. This might be being optimistic in fairness, but I kind of want to finish this book in this video and then possibly start a third one and go from there. That might be being optimistic, but the fact that there's only 20 chapters and not the 45 from the last one. But yeah, but I am doing this through chapters, not pages in the book, since this doesn't tell me how many pages are in the book, nor do I know how far into the book I am at most with the pages when I'm in the book, because I don't really keep on track of how many pages were in each chapter that I've read also. But yeah, so let's see if I can get around possibly 25% through this book today, which is chapter I have no clue to be honest. But yeah, let's see how far I can get up to this. I might update you guys back on this book when I'm like halfway through, so that might be in a couple of days. It might be I was gonna say it might be tomorrow. Not sure if it would be tomorrow or not. Well, for me anyway, it'll be like a few minutes for you guys or a couple seconds. But yeah, so I'll update you guys when I'm halfway through, and then possibly at the end of the book, or when this video ends. But yeah. So guys, I said I would update you guys when I'm like 50% through my book. Turns out I'm actually 86% through, because yesterday it ended up being, well, I tried to make this thing of, since there was 20 chapters, trying to at least read 5 chapters a day. So then it means I would end up getting the book read within like 4ish days, which then gives me some more time to start another book or start a third book and get some more into that in this vlog. And yesterday I ended up only, I think I was like 2 chapters behind, my like 5 chapter goal. So I ended up reading them this morning and then just carrying on to the end of chapter 15, which I've just done. And I've just remembered that I needed to hit like, that I read today to hit like the streak thing, my 8-day streak. And I've just looked and I'm 86% through, because I wanted to read like the last 2 chapters of the other book, of like from yesterday, that I wanted to read. And then I was like, well, I'm wanting to do some more reading at the moment. I'm in the mood to do some reading, so I might as well just continue. Which is great. I'm also in the mood more to do some more reading. But I thought I might as well update you guys a bit now quickly. But yeah, so I have a feeling this is definitely going to get read by tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to end up finishing it today. I highly doubt that. But I'm on chapter 16. I'm just about to start. Which, to be honest, the first few chapters in this book were really long. And then I think there's been like 1 or 2 that have been in like the 30 range of pages. Well, that's just with like the font size and the style of font that I have on my phone. That is just however many pages in the chapter. It could obviously be different for like the actual physical book, and obviously like other font styles and sizes. But yeah, so like the first few were like long, but now they're getting around to like 18 pages or so in a chapter. But yeah, but also while doing this, I've just literally thought about is I should probably be reading with my blue light glasses on, since I am like staring at my phone most of the day doing reading at the moment. And also having like the TV on, so I'll end up looking up a bit at my TV or looking at my iPad to film. So it probably would have made more sense for me to be wearing my blue light glasses for most of this, which in fairness we're near the end now. There's just under like 7-ish days left in that, but I might actually go up and get my blue light glasses, like my blue like light reflective glasses, I don't know what they're called, and that, which literally just help when you're staring at a computer screen or a screen of any sort. So I might actually swap my glasses over, go upstairs and swap my glasses over and do that, so I don't damage my eyes a bit. And that's since at the moment, well, every now and then my eyes have been out like a bit strained and stuff from staring at my phone, so going to do that, but also see how much more I can read today and get done. And then hopefully tomorrow I'll just have like a few chapters, and then the like other random 2 little things at the end, obviously things that happen, and then I can also figure out what other one I'm gonna be reading afterwards. So yeah, let's do that and do some more. So I have just finished the book, The Picture of Dorian Gray. I have just finished it. I think I ended up getting to, what was it, chapter 19 yesterday. So I read a bunch yesterday when I last spoke to you guys. So I only had like 2 chapters to read today. So let me just mark this as finished and get that done. And that, but obviously I don't rate it, so I don't need to do that. But yeah, so that is at 100%. So I've read 2 books. So let's do the spin wheel. I think I'm going to do the spin wheel of all the classic books all the time. Mainly because there isn't one that I like particularly want to read. I kind of just want to get through them and read them. For that thing, I'm not like really excited to read like one more than the other. Well, more than the others. So anytime I do read a classic book, I think I'm gonna like spin the wheel. I've also updated the wheel a bit. Obviously I've taken off the ones when it like spins one, obviously it gets taken off straight away. But I've also added like a picture of like of a book, well, of a version of the book that I've seen on the internet and that to like the slice on the wheel. But yeah, let's spin it and stuff to see what book I'm going to be reading next. Wuthering Heights and stuff. So I'm going to read that one. Where's that there? Delete. That one. Oh, and it's actually quite near the top as well. It's just there. So I'm going to take this one off of this because I obviously don't need it anymore on here. So just remove that. Remove that. We're done. And click onto Wuthering Heights. I'm also going to do the display again because I always do like the, what is it, railway font, and then I bring this font down a bit, but I don't actually know what that looks like until I get to, let's skip through all that and then get to this part. Is that the right? Yeah, about there-ish. Which, when it's like started on the thing of where it was like over here, it was like 14 pages in the chapter. Now I've moved the font like slightly smaller because I can read it with a slightly smaller font. It's gone down to 11 pages. Or should I say, it doesn't count the pages on, so 15 to 12 pages. It's like skipped like 3 pages because it doesn't need them 3 pages. But is this in chapters as well? Yeah, this is in chapters, and there is 34, I think. Let me get the Roman numerals number thing up on my thing. Yeah, 3 X's and then like the line and then a V. 3 X's, line, V. Yeah, 34 chapters. Am I going to be able to read 34 chapters within, what is it? It's Thursday today, and I'm finishing this on a Tuesday, literally next Tuesday. So what's that? Well, I can start today because it's like nearly 11:30. So I've got half the day to do some more reading. So I'll count today. So I've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's 4. And then Monday, Tuesday. So what, 6 days to do some reading? Plus Saturday, I'm going to be staying up most of the afternoon, evening, and going to bed late because I'm watching something in the evening, watching a show. So I could do the reading then, so I've got longer to read. So I could possibly do it in the 6 days, to be honest. And plus I did read like 20 chapters in 4 days. So I could possibly do it if I do the 5 chapters a day kind of thing again. And try and do that. Or at least read 5 chapters a day. And then go from there. So I'm going to set myself the task to try and either finish this book or get to chapter like 30 or onwards, and that, I feel like that would be a good thing to try and accomplish in this video and stuff. So yeah, so I feel like hitting the mark. I've already hit the mark of I wanted to get at least two classic books read in this video, and the fact that I've already done that and I've still got like 6 days left of reading, or shall I say 5.5 days of reading to like that I can do in this video, to possibly get another book read or partly read is great. But obviously once this video is filmed and uploaded and stuff, I've still got a few more days left of this month, and this is like my month of May of reading as many classic books as I can. So within the month of May I wanted to get at least 3 classic books read, and I'm kind of thinking I might be able to get like 4 read, or at least 4 anyway. But yeah, but let me do some more reading and see where I can get up to by the end of today. Hi guys, it is Sunday, I mean. My brain is all over the place with this reading vlog, purely because yesterday I stayed up late watching some TV, watching Eurovision and stuff, so I'm still somewhat tired, but doing some reading. I must admit, the past couple of days I've only read like a few pages, I haven't read a lot, so the trying to read 5 chapters a day has not really happened. But in fairness, some of the chapters at the moment in this book are like 30 plus pages, and normally I'm fine with it being like a physical book reading through that many pages, but on my phone, for some reason, having like longer chapters on my phone are just not really it for me. I prefer like the shorter chapters and stuff. But I'm currently like partway through a chapter. I think it's chapter 10, if I think. Yeah, chapter 10. It highlights the one that I'm on. And that out of obviously 34. So I know I'm definitely not going to finish this book within the next, what, 3-ish days. And so yeah, that's obviously including today, especially since we're like over half the day today has gone. But yeah, I am gonna try and read as much as I can. Luckily I am 31% into the book, so I'm definitely gonna get halfway through the book by the end of this video. But if I can get like around 75%, like 3/4 of the way through, I feel like I'll be happy with that. And that especially since starting this video I thought I was only gonna end up getting like 2 of these 2 classic books read. But if I can get possibly like 2/3, no, not 2/3, 3/4, I mean, my brain is all over the place with calculations at the moment. 3/4 of the way through the 3rd book in this video, that will be great. But yeah, so hoping to get that done. So I'm gonna try and get some more reading done. Also, don't mind the reflection in my glasses. I think that's myself. But yeah, it's because it's like blue, because I've got my blue reactor lights on that. I'm like, I don't know if it's reacting to my iPad in front of me or my TV that is on, like, no clue. But yeah, I'm gonna try and do some more reading and go from there. So yeah, so fun. Oh. I'm also tired, so I doubt I'm going to get a lot of reading done today, but we will see how much I can get done over the next few days. Don't mind the buzzing noise you can hear, that's just my dehumidifier that's on. But it is Wednesday, it's the day this video goes up. Couldn't speak then. I did originally say that I was going to finish this video yesterday on Tuesday, but I kind of made the decision to kind of take the whole of the 19th to do a bunch of reading, to try and get as much of like the third book read as I could. I didn't hit my goal of reading to 75%. I'm literally off by like 3%, which I'm not mad about or anything. Like I'm fine with it being at 72%, because I know within like the next possibly hopefully a few days or so, or at least the rest of this week, I can get hopefully the book read. But yeah, but I got so far into the third book, which also don't mind that the layout of the other books. I was working out which book has the least amount of chapters in to be my fourth read, my fourth book of the month to read. So yeah, don't mind that that the other books have changed places. But yeah, I'm 72% into Wuthering Heights, which is chapter 23. So yeah, I did obviously give myself the thing to try and read 5 chapters at least every day. So that means I'm technically 3 chapters off, because I haven't started chapter 23 and I'm meant to be on to 25. But I'm not that mad about it since there's 34 chapters. And I'm like, if I can read at least like a couple chapters every day from now on, that should hopefully be finished. But yeah, so I'm 72% through the third book, which is wild for me to think about, because I generally did think that I'd end up only reading like 2 books, not even that at the start of this. I generally didn't think I'd have read fully 2 books, and towards the end, well, over halfway of a third book in this. So, and that is great to think about. But yeah, so they are the 3 books I read, which was Tale of Two Cities, The Picture of Dorian Gray, and partway through Wuthering Heights. I know there's a movie out of Wuthering Heights, but I don't think I'm gonna watch it because I'm not that big of a fan of the book at the moment. But with reading a classic books at the moment, I don't know if it's just with reading these classic books are slowly putting me into a slump. And we're also coming closer to halfway through the year, and I've just been like trying to like bash out loads of books reading, and that, but I've kind of like slowed down of reading like a bunch. And also with reading these classic books, it feels like they're going like into my brain and then like straight out, because I like kind of remember what happened in the other 2, kind of not, and stuff. I still somewhat know what they're about, but not fully remembering everything that happened in them, and stuff. So yeah, it feels like I've read the information and then it just went straight out of my brain afterwards. But yeah, so fun. But my next reading vlog, I will be back to reading paperback books and that. So yeah, so I will see you guys Sunday for a vlog, and then see you guys next Wednesday for my room tour, I think it is, of my actual new layout of my room. So I will see you guys then. Bye.